There is a sacred rhythm that underlies all of life. It is not taught in schools, not captured in textbooks, not spoken of in the noise of everyday conversation. And yet it pulses beneath everything, beneath your breath, beneath your heartbeat, beneath every desire you have ever felt. It is the rhythm of the divine, quietly orchestrating the dance of galaxies and guiding every blade of grass as it reaches for the Sunday. You too are part of that sacred rhythm. You are not separate from it. You are not an observer of it. You are it. You are a living, breathing note in the music of the infinite. But how easily we forget. We fall asleep to our own divinity. We believe we are separate, alone, incomplete. We live as though the power that moves worlds is something we must chase, rather than something we already carry. We have been conditioned to strive, to achieve, to control. But manifestation is not a game of control. It is a practice of surrender, a return, a softening into the truth that what we seek is already seeking us. And more than that, it already exists within us. Manifestation is not about forcing life to bend to your will. It is about remembering that your will, when aligned with the divine, becomes effortless. Like water flowing downhill, like light piercing the darkness, like breath returning to the lungs. You do not need to make it happen. You need only to allow it. And you allow it by aligning not with your fears, not with your doubts, not with the small self that believes in lack, but with the boundless, limitless self that knows no separation from source. This is the great secret of instant manifestation. It is not about getting more. It is about becoming still enough to recognize that you already are more than enough. The universe does not respond to your words. It responds to your state, to your vibration, to your alignment. When you are aligned with truth, with love, with gratitude, with inner stillness, then life rises to meet you in ways that appear miraculous. But they are not miracles. They are simply the natural outcome of being who you truly are. The ego will always tell you that you are lacking. It will whisper that you are not ready, not worthy, not yet complete. It will point to the future and say, when you get there, then you can relax. But the soul knows better. The soul knows that everything you desire, peace, love, joy, abundance, is not found in the distance. It is found in the now, in the depth of this moment, in the quiet space where your thoughts grow still and your being becomes spacious. When you align with the divine, you stop resisting what is. You stop grasping. You stop manipulating. And instead, you listen. You listen with your heart, with your intuition, with your entire being. You feel the subtle tug of truth beneath the noise of the world, and you follow it, not with desperation, but with trust, not with effort, but with grace. You were never meant to chase your dreams like a beggar at the gates of life. You are meant to stand in the knowing that you are one with the dreamer himself. The same power that paints the sunset, that stirs the wind, that spins the stars, that power breathes through you. It does not need to be summoned. It only needs to be remembered. And so I ask you, beloved soul, what if you stop striving? What if you stop seeking outside of yourself for the very thing that already lives within? What if your only task was to return again and again to the stillness of your own heart, to trust that your alignment is enough, to know that when you rest in that sacred space, life unfolds not as a struggle, but as a symphony. The seed does not strive to become the tree. It allows. It trusts. It lets the sunlight in, the rain fall, the earth hold it, and in that trust, it becomes what it was always destined to be. You too are that seed. And the divine is not asking you to prove yourself. It is asking you to remember yourself, to know that your desires are not random. They are echoes of your soul's remembrance of what is already true. You do not manifest by pleading with the universe. You manifest by becoming the vibration of the thing you seek. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. So who are you willing to become? Not someday, not when it's convenient. But now, let go of the idea that your past determines your future. Let go of the belief that you must earn your worth. Let go of the illusion that you are separate from the source of all creation. And remember that the universe does not speak in words. It speaks in feeling, in frequency, in alignment. And when you align with the divine, when you sit in silence and feel the sacred current of love that has never stopped flowing through you, then you are no longer trying to manifest. You are manifesting because manifestation is not an act. It is a state of being. The mind will always ask, what must I do? It is obsessed with strategies, with tactics, with action. But the soul does not speak the language of doing. The soul speaks in the language of being. And this is the essence of alignment, not a frantic rush toward a goal, but a sacred stillness that knows the goal is already within. Imagine the Sunday. It does not rise because it tries. It does not shine because it earned permission. It shines because that is its nature. And you too were created to shine not through force, but through essence, not through striving, but through remembering. To align with the divine is to surrender your small will into the infinite wisdom of life itself. It is to say, I no longer resist what is. I no longer need to be anything other than who I truly am. And in that surrender, you become a vessel open, clear, ready. Ready not just to receive, but to radiate. Ready not just to manifest things, but to embody truth. What the ego calls manifestation is often just glorified grasping. But what the soul calls manifestation is resonance, harmony, co-creation. When you are aligned, you are not waiting for life to happen to you. You are participating in the sacred unfolding of it. Each moment becomes a brushstroke in a masterpiece that the divine is painting through your very existence. But the mind is impatient. It will demand proof. It will ask, where is it? Why hasn't it happened yet? It will use the passing of time as evidence against your worth. But time is not the measure of alignment. Presence is. And the present moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this stillness is the only point of power you will ever have. There is no power in the past. There is no power in the imagined future. There is only power here, in this now. And when you claim this now, when you inhabit it fully, without resistance, then all that is aligned with your soul begins to move toward you. Not because you chased it, but because you became it. The divine is not somewhere far away, deciding whether or not to bless you. The divine is within you, as you, through you. It is your breath. It is your awareness. It is the quiet hum beneath all your thoughts. And when you drop beneath the noise of the ego, you enter the field of miracles. Not because the world changed, but because your perception did. You begin to see that abundance is not something to acquire, it is something to allow. Love is not something to find, it is something to express. Peace is not something to reach, it is something to remember. The most powerful manifester is not the one who controls the most, but the one who surrenders the deepest, who dares to trust the unseen, who listens not with their ears, but with their being, who walks not by fear, but by inner knowing. You will not always understand the timing, you will not always see the path, but if you trust deeply, reverently, without demand, then life will reveal itself to you in ways you could never have planned. Because alignment opens doors that effort could never find. And so the real question is not, what do you want to manifest? The real question is, who must you become to allow what is already yours? You are not here to create a life of empty achievement. You are here to become a living expression of the divine, to walk this world as a radiant reminder of what it means to live from truth, to breathe from love, to speak from wisdom. And when you live like that, when your vibration becomes a match for the highest version of reality, then manifestation is not something you do. It is something that happens through you, effortlessly, naturally, instantly, because alignment is instant. It is the moment you say yes to your own soul. And in that yes, all things are made possible. There comes a moment, if you are still long enough, when you feel it, an unexplainable peace that does not depend on the outside world. It rises from within like a forgotten melody that was always playing, only drowned out by the static of thought. In that stillness you remember, you are not separate from the field of creation. You are not a beggar at the gates of heaven, you are the gates, and you are heaven. You are the portal through which the divine expresses itself into form. But this world has trained you otherwise. It taught you to seek approval, to prove your worth, to measure your value against ever-changing standards. And so we learn to strive, to compete, to control. We become performers on a stage, forgetting the stage itself was built upon sacred ground. We lose sight of the truth that manifestation does not begin in the mind, but in the stillness before the mind. Not in the story, but in the silence. And so the invitation is not to think more powerful thoughts. It is to return to the space before thought, to the source, to the vast, boundless awareness that was there before you ever learned your name. to that which watches the play of your life unfold without judgment, without resistance, without fear. This awareness, this presence is the divine, not a being in the sky, but a being within you. Not a force to be manipulated, but a current to be trusted. When you align with this, you stop trying to manifest through the mind and begin manifesting through resonance. You become a tuning fork for the frequencies of love, peace, and abundance. And what you resonate with, you receive not because you demanded it, but because you remembered who you are. You are not here to force the world to bend to your will. You are here to dissolve the illusion of separation so fully that the world begins to bend with you, not in submission, but in harmony. For when you are aligned, life no longer resists you. It dances with you. The river does not resist the fish. The sky does not resist the bird. And the universe does not resist the soul that remembers its place within the whole. Let yourself be like the ocean, vast, open, deep. Do not clutch at the waves of experience. Let them rise. Let them fall. You are not the wave, you are the ocean in which the wave moves. You are not your thoughts, your emotions, your circumstances. You are the awareness that holds them, and that awareness is the same in all beings. It is the thread that weaves all things together. It is the divine intelligence that breathes your lungs and turns acorns into forests. When you realize this not as an idea, but as a lived truth, then you no longer seek to manifest from lack. You do not say, I need more. You say, I already am. And from that place, your desires take on a different quality. They are no longer cries of desperation, they are songs of celebration. You are not asking life to complete you. You are inviting life to express through you. This is the shift. This is alignment. This is when manifestation becomes not an act, but a byproduct. Like a flower that opens not because it forces itself to bloom, but because it aligns with the Sunday, so too do your dreams unfold when you align with your essence. But how do we do this, you ask? Not by effort, not by control, but by surrender, by release, by remembrance. Let go of the timeline, let go of the outcome, let go of the belief that you must suffer to deserve, and instead, allow yourself to be as you are, right now. Breathe into this moment as if it were holy, because it is. Every moment is sacred when seen through the eyes of truth. You are already whole, already loved, already worthy. Your alignment is not something you achieve. It is something you allow. When your heart is soft, when your mind is quiet, when your being is present, you are aligned. And when you are aligned, you are magnetic. Not to things, but to truth. Not to outcomes, but to the deepest expression of your soul. This is how the divine manifests instantly, not by calculation, but by coherence, by resonance, by vibration. You become the song, and life begins to dance. You become the light, and the path appears. You become the peace, and the chaos dissolves. You do not do this by escaping the world. You do it by fully entering it with presence, with softness, with sacred attention. When you walk aligned with the divine, the universe is no longer a test. It is a canvas, a playground, a mirror reflecting the love that lives within you. And in that state, you do not need to chase. You attract. You do not need to strive. You allow. You do not need to manipulate. You simply trust. And in that trust, everything becomes possible. There is a knowing beyond thought, a wisdom that does not speak in words. Yet when you hear it, the whole of your being responds with a calm yes. It is the whisper of the divine within you, gently inviting you back to your center. Not to solve your life, but to live it. Not to fix yourself, but to feel yourself fully, unapologetically, intimately. So much of the struggle we experience comes from forgetting this center. We are pulled into the current of appearances, the swirling storm of conditions and comparisons, and we begin to believe the lie that life is something outside of us, something to catch up to, something to control. But life is not outside you. It never was. It is happening through you, in you, as you. And manifestation, true, sacred, effortless manifestation, begins not when you master life, but when you merge with it. You are not here to conquer the world. You are here to realize you already contain it. The entire cosmos, every galaxy, every law of physics, every sacred pattern of intelligence is reflected in you. You are the microcosm of the macrocosm. the breath of eternity held within a single human form. And yet, how quickly we forget this truth. We buy into the illusion of separateness, the seductive spell of not enough. We listen to the mind's chatter, and in doing so, we drift from the divine frequency of our own soul. But your soul has never stopped calling you home. It has waited with the patience of mountains, with the softness of moonlight, with the certainty of the tide. Every desire you've ever had has been its invitation not to accumulate, but to align. So pause. Listen not with your ears, but with your being. Feel the presence beneath the words, the stillness beneath the breath. This is where alignment begins, not with action, but with awareness. Not with planning, but with presence. When you remember who you truly are, manifestation stops being an event and becomes a byproduct. Like the fragrance of a flower or the warmth of the sun, it arises effortlessly from your being. It requires no striving, no pushing, no proving. It only requires that you become inwardly clear, so rooted in truth, that all falsehoods dissolve before you like shadows before the dawn. And this clarity cannot be forced. It cannot be faked. It arises naturally when you surrender, when you release the need to be anything other than who and what you are. When you let go of trying to become and allow yourself to be, in that sacred beingness, you rediscover a power that is not of this world, though it moves through this world. It is the power of presence, the power of grace, the power of divine alignment. Do not underestimate this power. It is the same force that moves planets, splits atoms, and brings stars into being. And it does not speak in thunder. It does not shout to be heard. It arrives in the hush, in the reverence, in the deep surrender of your spirit back to itself. You are not separate from this power. You are made of it. Your cells, your breath, your heartbeat all form from the intelligence of Source. You are not a creation apart from the Creator. You are the Creator in form, experiencing its own expansion through you. And this is why your desires matter. Not because they are trophies, but because they are the compass of your soul. They are not random. They are not selfish. They are sacred. They are the way the divine seeks to know itself through you. So when you long for peace, you are not chasing a fantasy, you are remembering your origin. When you yearn for love, you are not lacking, you are realigning with truth. When you dream of abundance, you are not greedy, you are awakening to the infinite nature of your being. Desire, when purified of ego, becomes holy. It becomes the voice of the divine calling you back into coherence with itself. And manifestation, then, is not about manipulating reality to satisfy a fleeting want. It is about embodying the vibration of your soul's truest resonance so completely that life has no choice but to echo it back to you. This is the law, not a law of attraction, but a law of reflection. The world is your mirror. It cannot give you what you are unwilling to become. It cannot show you what you refuse to see within yourself. So if you seek love, become love. If you desire abundance, embody gratitude. If you wish for peace, live from stillness. When your inner world becomes congruent with your desires, the outer world begins to rearrange itself in response. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned with the divine blueprint already written in your soul. And the beauty of this path is that nothing is missing, not one tool, not one step, not 1 ounce of worthiness. You already have all that is required. You already are all that is required. Your task is not to add more. Your task is to release the noise, the masks, the fear, and to return. Return to the center. Return to presence. Return to truth. This is the way of effortless manifestation. This is the vibration of miracles. Not dramatic, not loud, but deeply, reverently real. And when you live from this place, the universe becomes not your master, but your mirror. And that mirror will reflect wonders you never dreamed possible. There is a moment when you no longer seek miracles because you realize you are one. You are not the result of chance, nor the outcome of effort. You are the deliberate, loving extension of the infinite. You were whispered into existence by the divine, not to struggle, not to strive, but to reveal. Reveal beauty. Reveal truth. Reveal the eternal dance of Source through the art of your life. And when you truly feel this, not just think it, but feel it in your bones, then manifestation becomes inevitable. Not because you forced it to happen, but because you remembered who you were before the world taught you to forget. This remembrance is the doorway. It is the invitation. It is the sacred space where alignment and creation meet. But the world, in its well-meaning noise, taught you otherwise. It taught you to earn what you already are, to strive for what you already possess, to search for what has never been missing. And so you forgot not out of failure, but out of innocence. You began to believe that joy lives in the next moment, that peace waits in the next achievement, that love is the reward for perfection. But the soul knows otherwise. The soul knows that joy is presence, that peace is surrender, that love is not the finish line, but the foundation. You do not manifest love by seeking it. You manifest love by becoming the place where love is welcome, where love is safe, where love is felt so deeply within you that it begins to emanate from your pores, from your silence, from the very way you breathe. Likewise, abundance is not something you attract by obsessing over money. Abundance is a frequency, a deep inner yes to life. A knowing that all your needs are met, not because you have counted every coin, but because you have aligned with the source that creates all coins, all wealth, all provision. True abundance is not having more. It is needing less because you have remembered your union with the source of all. This is the paradox of alignment. The less you chase, the more you receive. The more you release, the more you allow. The more you rest in being, the more life flows toward you with grace. To the ego, this seems like nonsense. It will scream, do more, try harder, hustle. And if you follow that voice, you may indeed gain, but what you gain will never satisfy because it was born from lack. What you manifest from fear only amplifies fear. What you create from pressure only multiplies pressure. But what you manifest from alignment lasts, heals, expands, because it comes from wholeness. So I ask you now, who are you when there is nothing to prove? Who are you when you no longer chase outcomes but embody truth? Who are you when your identity is not built on achievement but on essence? The moment you step into that knowing, the entire fabric of your life begins to change. Not all at once, not with fanfare, but like a dawn rising slowly, light touching every shadow, warmth replacing every chill. People you once struggled to please fall away effortlessly. Opportunities that felt impossible begin to show up without effort. Paths you didn't even know existed begin to unfold beneath your feet, not because you planned it, but because you aligned with it. This is not magic. This is law. The law of resonance, the law of vibration, the law of inner truth reflecting outer experience. You do not receive what you pray for in desperation. You receive what you are in alignment with. So if you want to shift your life, shift your state, shift your story, shift your frequency. This does not mean pretending to be happy. It means being honest enough to sit with what is, to hold it, to bless it, and to rise from it with clarity. There is no manifestation without presence. There is no alignment without truth. You must be willing to feel what you've avoided, to release what no longer fits, to grieve the versions of yourself that were born from survival, not soul. And then, in the sacred space left behind, you begin again. But this time not from force, not from fantasy, but from alignment. From presence, from truth, from divine essence. And in that sacred space, the impossible becomes inevitable. And so it is, after all the searching, the reaching, the striving, you arrive back here, back to the center that never moved, back to the quiet fire of your own being, back to the presence that asked for nothing, yet held everything. You begin to see that the journey was never about gathering, but about shedding. Not about becoming greater, but about remembering how vast you already are. Not about fixing what was broken, but about revealing what was always whole. This is the alignment the soul speaks of not as a destination, but as a state, a vibration. A sacred attunement with the frequency of all that is. It is the great return, not to a version of yourself that fits the world's mold, but to the self that existed before the world wrote its name on your skin. And in this return, manifestation ceases to be a goal. It becomes a natural consequence of your being, like breath, like sunlight, like waves returning home to the sea. You don't need to try anymore. You don't need to prove. You don't need to scream your worth into a world too distracted to hear it. Your presence is enough. Your stillness is enough. Your very existence is an affirmation of the divine dreaming itself awake through you. And so the great mystery is revealed not in thunder, but in stillness, not in power, but in surrender. Not in doing, but in allowing. Allowing yourself to be what you already are. You see now, manifestation is not a tool for the ego, it is a song of the soul. A quiet symphony that begins to play when the walls of fear dissolve and your true essence rises to the surface like dawn. It does not arrive through calculation, it arrives through coherence. When you become the vibration of peace, peace must meet you. When you become the presence of love, love must reflect you. When you become the openness of abundance, abundance must flow to you, not as reward, but as reflection. There is nothing to chase. There is only what you choose to embody. There is nothing to wait for. There is only what you choose to feel now. There is no more becoming. There is only being, and in this being, everything shifts. Your breath becomes sacred. Your thoughts grow spacious. Your energy becomes magnetic. And life, oh life, begins to mirror back the beauty you have remembered within yourself. Not as a favor, not as a fluke, but as law, as rhythm, as the inevitable unfolding of alignment. The river flows not because it pushes, but because it yields. So too must you yield, not in weakness, but in wisdom. Yield to the current of your soul. Yield to the knowing that you are already whole. Yield to the truth that what you seek has always lived within you. And from this yielded place, speak softly to your heart. I do not need to chase. I choose to align. I do not need to prove. I choose to remember. I do not need to strive. I choose to surrender because I am already enough, already whole, already one with the divine. And so let this moment be your altar. Let this breath be your offering. Let your being be your prayer. You no longer need to climb to the heavens to find your power. You are the heavens, descending into form. You are the sacred walking. You are the manifestation, becoming conscious of itself. And from this knowing, miracles are not made. They are recognized because what you have longed for, what you have wept for, what you have dreamed beneath stars and screamed into pillows in the dark was never lost. It was only buried beneath the noise. And now the noise has softened. The veil has lifted. The alignment has returned. And you, holy, radiant, infinite, you have come home to yourself. There is nothing more to do. There is only everything to allow. And so it is. And so it always has been. And now, now you are free. There is a sacred force moving through you, a river of light that has never been broken. Even when you forgot, even when you doubted, even when your words betrayed your heart, this force remained. It is the breath behind your breath, the silence beneath your thoughts, the whisper that says you are more than this moment, and you are more than this form. You are a vessel of divine expression. And your words, your sacred utterances, are the brushstrokes of creation itself. You see, what you speak is not just language, it is law, it is vibration, it is the resonance of your soul made manifest. Every sentence you utter is either a spell of liberation or a chain of limitation. And so the question is not, do your words matter, but are your words remembering who you truly are? Long before you were taught to speak for approval, before you used your voice to defend, justify, or explain, there was a purity in you, a knowing that your words were tools of intention, not weapons of fear. And you are being called now to return to that knowing, to speak as the soul speaks gently, truthfully, powerfully, to speak as the infinite speaks not from lack but from fullness, to speak as if it's already done, not because you are pretending, but because you are aligning with the unseen. You are not here to beg the universe. You are here to command it, not with arrogance, but with a quiet certainty of one who remembers their source. When Jesus said, "Let there be light," he did not wonder if the light would come. He spoke from oneness with the Father, from the same source that lives in you. When the Tao speaks of the nameless origin of all things, it reminds us that creation arises not from effort, but from harmony. Your words are not separate from this, they are it. They are the sacred thread between thought and form, between longing and arrival. So why do we speak in the language of limitation? Why do we say, "I'm trying, I hope, maybe one day," as if the divine is waiting to be convinced? No, the divine responds to clarity. The field of infinite intelligence is activated by conviction. And conviction is not loud, it is not forced. It is simply certain. When you say, "It is done," something in the quantum, something in the ethers, rearranges itself to match that knowing. Not because you forced it, but because you remembered the truth before the world gave you evidence. You are not speaking to make something happen. You are speaking because it has already happened in the realm of the unseen. And your words are the bridge. This is why your language matters. Speak not what you fear, but what you are ready to receive. Speak not what is wrong, but what is real. Speak not as the wounded self, but as the awakened soul. Because your words do not just describe your life, they design it. They are seeds, and the moment they leave your lips, they fall into the soil of your reality. And that soil does not judge. It only grows. It will grow weeds if you plant weeds. It will grow roses if you plant roses. And it will bring you the fruits of whatever you have spoken into it, whether in love or in fear. So listen deeply to yourself. Do you speak as one who is waiting or one who is remembering? Do your sentences end with doubt or do they rise with faith? Because every I am is a declaration to the universe. And the universe is always listening. Say, I am whole, and wholeness moves toward you. Say, I am loved, and love cannot help but respond. Say, I am free, and the chains begin to dissolve, first in energy, then in form. But say, I can't, and you have closed the door before it could open. Say, I never, and you have carved a ceiling above your own sky. Not because these things are true, but because you believe them long enough to make them your prison. There are no neutral words. Every word carries a charge. Every phrase is either tuning you to the frequency of expansion or contraction. And so you must speak with the reverence of a soul who knows that their tongue is a wand and every sound is a spell. Speak blessings over your life as if they are already here, not because you are fooling yourself, but because you are freeing yourself. Do not say, I am trying to heal. Say, I am already whole, and my healing is revealing itself now. Do not say, I wish I could. Say, I am fully capable, and I trust the unfolding. This is not delusion, this is alignment. This is speaking from the mountain, not the valley. This is being the rainmaker who dances not because the sky is blue, but because the dance is the prayer that makes the sky open. When you speak as if it's already done, you align your frequency with the outcome before the outcome arrives. And in that alignment, the outcome is pulled towards you not by striving, but by resonance. Everything in this universe is responding to your signal, and your signal is encoded in your words. So speak not of delays, but of divine timing. Speak not of lack, but of the abundance that is always present. Speak not of fear, but of the faith that carries you beyond the need to know how. Because when your voice becomes an instrument of trust, life begins to echo that trust back to you. People will feel it. Circumstances will shift. Synchronicities will rise like morning sun through fog, and you will wonder if the magic was always this close. It was. You were simply speaking against it. Now speak for it. Speak to the waters as if they already know your name. Speak to the future as if it's already shaking hands with the now. Speak to your body as if it is already restored, vital, radiant. Speak to your heart as if it remembers why it came. And speak to the divine as if there is no separation, as if every word you offer is a continuation of the same breath that brought galaxies into form. Because it is. You are not separate from the source. You are its echo, its expression, its living poem. And every word you speak is a stanza in that sacred song. So let your song be love. Let it be faith. Let it be certainty wrapped in stillness, vision wrapped in humility. Your words are not small. They are worlds. Every syllable shapes the unseen. Every whisper touches the fabric of what will become. So use them as if they matter, because they do. You are the author. You are the scribe. You are the voice through which the eternal speaks. So write your life with reverence and speak as if it's already done. Let us pause here, not to retreat, but to deepen. Because the truth you are speaking into the world is not simply about events, outcomes, or goals. It is about vibration. You are not speaking about life, you are speaking into life. And life listens not with ears, but with energy. It does not hear the noise, it hears the intention. It receives your essence and reflects it back, not as a reward, but as a mirror. So the question becomes, what are you aligning with when you speak? Do your words rise from the consciousness of fear or from the soul of faith? Do you speak because you believe in the goodness of life or because you doubt your place in it? To speak as if it's already done is to make a vow to your own divinity. It is to say to the universe, I no longer wait to see the evidence before I believe, and therefore I see. You are not an observer of this world. You are a creator within it. Your words are your tool, your chisel, your sacred paintbrush, and what you declare, you become. Say it now, in the privacy of your own stillness. I am not waiting. I am remembering. The mountain does not ask for permission to rise. The ocean does not apologize for its depth. The sun does not doubt its right to shine, and neither must you. Speak as if you are the mountain already risen. Speak as if you are the ocean already deep. Speak as if you are the sun already ablaze with the fire of being. The world has conditioned you to speak small, to diminish your power through hesitant phrasing. If it's meant to be, I hope things work out. We'll see what happens. But the soul does not speak this way. The soul does not hedge. It does not bargain. It does not dilute. The soul says, it is already done. The soul says, I am the vessel through which all goodness flows. The soul says, I align with the frequency of miracles, because miracles are my native tongue. And here lies the secret that the sages have always whispered. When you speak as if it's already done, you dissolve the illusion of time. You collapse the distance between the longing and the fulfillment. You enter into the eternal now, the place where all creation begins. Lao Tzu wrote, to the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. And I say to you, to the voice that is aligned, the whole universe responds. Your words are not to be thrown into the wind like scattered leaves. They are to be placed like sacred stones upon the altar of your becoming. Every word an offering, every declaration a ceremony, every intention a return. And so I ask you, what altar are you building with your speech? Are you erecting temples of truth or walls of resistance? Are you speaking from the fullness of your soul or the fear of your history? Because every time you say, I am, you are invoking the presence of God within you, not the God of division or distance, but the God of isness, the God who dwells in the now, in the breath, in the unseen harmony that dances beneath every atom of your being. I am healed. I am guided. I am abundant. These are not affirmations, they are activations. You are not trying to make them true. You are declaring their truth before the world catches up. This is faith not as hope, but as knowing. This is mastery not through control, but through communion. This is magic not as illusion, but as alignment. You are not speaking to the world as it is. You are speaking to the field of infinite potential that surrounds you. And every time you do, you shape it, you mold it, you impress upon it the echo of your divinity. So speak now with reverence. Let no careless word leave your lips. Let no utterance contradict your essence. Let every phrase carry the fragrance of your future, not a future hoped for, but a future claimed. And if the mind says, but I don't see it yet, smile gently and return to your truth. Creation does not begin with seeing, it begins with saying. The seed does not look like the tree, but the tree lives inside the seed. And your spoken word is that seed, sacred, potent, and ready to bloom if planted with faith. You are not waiting for life to give you permission. You are life, giving itself form through your voice. So speak. Speak as the poet speaks, drenched in beauty. Speak as the prophet speaks, rooted in truth. Speak as the child speaks, with wonder unfiltered. Speak as the mystic speaks, not to be heard, but to be felt. Because when you speak from this place, you are no longer asking, you are becoming. And the universe, ever faithful, ever attuned, begins to conspire in your favor. Not because you forced it, but because you remembered. What would your life become if you never again spoke, as if you were unsure of your belonging here? If every word you shaped carried the unshakable, knowing that your very existence is not only valid, but sacred? What would rise from your heart if you abandoned the habit of hesitation and began to speak only from the knowing place? There is a divine rhythm to all things, and you are not separate from it. You are the rhythm. You are the breath of spirit inhaled into form, and your voice is the sound of that breath remembering itself. Your words are not just communication, they are communion. They are how the infinite becomes intimate with the moment. To speak as if it's already done is not to lie to yourself. It is to rise above the illusions that have kept you waiting. You are not denying reality. You are declaring truth. And truth is not what the eyes see. It is what the soul recognizes before the eyes ever open. Every time you say, I am worthy, you are not inventing worth, you are uncovering it. Every time you say, I am loved, you are not creating affection, you are aligning with the eternal love that has always surrounded you. Every time you say, I am free, you are not escaping. You are reclaiming what was never truly lost, only buried beneath the rubble of self-doubt. Speak then as a being no longer bound to waiting. Speak as one who knows that the future does not live somewhere beyond the horizon. It lives in the tone of your voice, in the vibration of your being, in the intention behind your sentences. You are not walking toward your destiny, you are speaking it into being. Your life is a temple, and your words are the bells that call angels to its doors. So do not ring them lightly. Let them chime with the music of conviction. Let them resound with the echo of grace. Let your language become a sanctuary not for fear to hide, but for truth to dwell. Every sentence you utter is a thread in the tapestry of your reality. Are you weaving patterns of power or patterns of pain? Are you scripting lines of doubt or verses of devotion? Even your silence is a form of speech, for the universe listens not just to what you say, but to what you withhold, to what you dare not declare. And in your withholding, you often delay the miracles that are ready to unfold. You must give yourself permission to speak boldly, to speak as one who no longer asks life to justify its gifts, but who understands that the gifts are already given, and the act of speaking them is the act of receiving them. You are not here to tiptoe through the sacred. You are here to walk in it, speak from it, live as it. You are not here to ask if you are allowed to be powerful. You are here to remember that your power is not aggression, it is presence. Not dominance, but resonance. Not noise, but truth, humming quietly, irresistibly, through every word you release into the world. You do not need to shout to be heard. You need only to speak from the deep, from the still, from the place beneath your fear where certainty already lives. Say it now. I no longer narrate my limitations. Say it again. I speak only what aligns with my highest reality. Say it until your bones know it. It is already done. This is the language of liberation, the language of soul-aligned manifestation, the language of those who no longer wait for signs, because they have become the sign. Your speech is not a performance. It is a proclamation, and you must choose what kingdom you are proclaiming, the kingdom of scarcity or the kingdom of sufficiency, the kingdom of striving or the kingdom of surrender, the kingdom of delay or the kingdom of now, because the gates to each are opened by your words. Speak with reverence, speak with rhythm, speak with readiness. Not the readiness of one who prepares, but of one who has already arrived. What you utter becomes the thread from which your life is woven. Every word not merely a vibration, but an architect, a sacred engineer sculpting unseen dimensions into form. And yet most speak without awareness, not realizing they are breathing life into illusions they do not want. They say, I'm not ready. And so readiness waits at the edge of their becoming. They say, I always struggle, and so struggle comes, faithfully answering the invitation hidden inside the words. They say, I hope it works out, never realizing that hope, when paired with doubt, sends mixed signals to a universe that only answers certainty. But you are awakening now. You are not here to casually wish for change. You are here to create it. You are not here to echo the limitations of your past, but to speak from the frequency of who you already are beneath the veil. And who you are is not uncertain. You are the voice of clarity inside the storm, the light that does not flicker when the world goes dim. You are the timeless self who does not speak to report what is, but to proclaim what is becoming. You must not speak of your wounds as your identity. They were events, not essence. They were storms, not the sky. And the more you rehearse the story of your limitations, the more your nervous system becomes loyal to the lie. So stop repeating the version of yourself you no longer wish to live inside. Speak not from who you were, but from who you are choosing to be right now, in this breath, in this vibration, in this sacred return to power. Speak as if it's already done, not because you are pretending, but because you are accessing the greater truth, the truth that every thought is a blueprint, every word a brick, every sentence a structure of consciousness. When you say, it is already mine, you are not claiming ownership in ego, you are claiming alignment in soul. When you say, I am already there, you are not denying the journey, you are collapsing time, stepping into the eternal now where all things are already complete in the field of divine intelligence. There is no arrogance in this. There is only surrender. The ego begs, manipulates, convinces, but the soul simply speaks from truth. The soul says, I remember. And in that remembrance, all things are made new. And so I ask you, what future are you speaking into this moment? What unseen world are you bringing into being through the temple of your tongue? Are you summoning miracles or recycling memories? Because you cannot speak one thing and expect another. You cannot say, nothing ever works out for me and expect grace to bloom. You cannot say, I don't know what I'm doing and expect clarity to arise. You cannot say, I'm afraid I'll fail and expect success to take root. The soil responds to what you plant. So plant now, intentionally, from your inner sanctuary, from the space beyond the noise where stillness births every possibility. Speak not what your eyes see, speak what your soul knows. The eyes report, the soul remembers, and the soul remembers that you are already whole, that you are already chosen, that the path has already said yes to you, it is only waiting for your voice to catch up. Say it now, say it aloud. Let the sound of your own power reverberate back into your bones. It is already done. Say it not with urgency, not with pressure, but with presence, the kind of sacred presence that does not seek proof, because it is the proof. Let these words be your prayer. I speak only from alignment. I choose only what supports my highest frequency. I no longer use my words to delay what is ready for me now. Speak not just for yourself, but for every ancestor who was silenced, for every version of you who once whispered, maybe someday, but was never taught how to say yes now, for the younger you who waited in corners, hoping someone would see their light, not realizing that light was always theirs to turn on. You do not need permission. You are the permission. And your words, these spells of sound and spirit, are your way of turning the key. So speak, not with fear, but with reverence. Speak, not with doubt, but with devotion. Speak, not to describe the world, but to transform it. And when the ego rises to say, but it's not happening yet, you look it in the eye and say, that is only because the roots grow before the blossom. Speak the blossom. Speak the fruit. Speak the miracle as if it is already pouring itself into your palms. And life will respond, not always instantly, not always visibly, but always faithfully. Because the universe does not ignore what is spoken in truth. It waits and then it mirrors. There comes a moment in the life of every awakened soul when the old language no longer fits. The phrases you once used to describe yourself, they begin to itch, to tighten, to feel foreign. The sentences of survival, the mantras of modesty, the scripts handed down by fear, they no longer carry your frequency. And this is the holy discomfort of evolution. It is not chaos. It is clarity emerging from the ashes of your former identity. You begin to notice that speaking of your limits feels heavier than the limits themselves. You begin to hear the tension in your own voice when you doubt yourself out loud. And so you pause, not because you are unsure, but because the words you seek must now match the soul you are finally honoring. This is the rebirth of your language. Not the language taught by repetition, but the language born of revelation. Not words to survive with, but words to rise with. Words that do not describe your wounds, they speak from the place beyond them. Words that do not mask your pain, they transmute it. Words that do not echo the past, they reimagine the future. And in this reimagining, you become something ancient and new at once, a speaker of sacred futures. You no longer say, I'm stuck, because you realize stuckness is a moment, not a truth. You no longer say, I'm overwhelmed, because you remember you are the sky, and the weather always passes. You no longer say, I don't know if I'm enough, because now you see enoughness is not earned, it is remembered. Let your tongue become a flame for truth. Let it burn away the false narratives you've whispered for years. Let it purify your path, not through noise, but through the quiet insistence of alignment. Because every time you speak in alignment with the highest vision of your life, you shift timelines. Yes, this is not metaphor. This is physics. You are not a bystander to destiny. You are its composer. And each word is a note in the symphony of your unfolding. Speak as if you know the song by heart. Speak as if the outcome is already humming its way toward you. Speak as if you've already danced with the dream and now You're simply waiting for the world to catch up. Because that's all reality ever is. The slow unfolding of what you've already claimed in spirit. The seed planted in silence. The echo of a truth that was whispered long before you had the courage to say it aloud. And once you say it, once you declare, this is who I am now. This is what I receive. This is the life I align with, something invisible shifts. You change your posture not from pride, but from remembrance. You stop bending your speech to match your old self. You stop apologizing in advance for your power. You stop asking for things with trembling hope and begin thanking for them as if they've already arrived. This is not delusion. This is devotion. To speak as if it's already done is to walk inside the temple of faith with your head held high, your hands open, and your voice steady. You do not plead. You proclaim. You do not ask the ocean for permission to be wet. You step into it and know. You do not ask the sun for warmth. You feel it and receive. So why do you beg life to be what it already longs to become through you? Speak now as if life is listening, because it is. Speak as if every cell is reorganizing itself around the vibration of your truth, because it is. Speak as if your words carry the blueprint of your becoming, because they do. This is not poetry. This is creation. This is remembrance. This is power wrapped in humility, strength softened by surrender. You are not commanding life. You are co-creating with it. You are not controlling the path. You are clearing the fog with your clarity. And the more you speak from alignment, the less you need to force anything. The less you need to explain. The less you need to convince, because resonance is its own evidence. People feel the truth in your tone. The universe feels the frequency in your voice. And your life begins to move not because you pushed it, but because you finally stopped contradicting it with your own speech. Let this be your vow. From this moment forward, I will only speak what honors my becoming. From this breath on, I will choose words that hold the vibration of love, of faith, of completion. I will no longer use my voice to reinforce an identity I've outgrown. Because I am not just speaking, I am summoning, I am shaping. I am remembering the divine contract etched into my soul. And with every sacred sentence, I sign it again. And now the space is full. The field is ripe. The echo of your own remembering hums gently through every cell of your being. You have not been learning, dear soul. You have been uncovering. You have not been trying to believe. You have been returning to the place in you that never forgot. The place that always knew your words were not born from the mouth, but from the breath beneath it, the presence behind it, the source within it. And so we arrive not at a conclusion, but at a threshold where you no longer speak from the posture of someday, but from the power of now. You no longer cast your voice into the void, hoping something might come back. You speak as the void, rich with fullness, vibrating with knowing. Your language is no longer waiting for life to change, it is life changing. In real time, through the sound of your soul stepping forward. You no longer say, I will be. You say, I am. You no longer say, if it happens. And you say, it is unfolding perfectly, and I welcome it. You no longer ask, why me? You declare, of course me, I was born for this. You were never meant to use your voice to make yourself smaller. You were never meant to narrate the lies of unworthiness with holy breath. You were meant to name the light. To declare it real. To make the invisible so felt, so known, so spoken, that it can no longer remain hidden. Speak then, as the sun speaks to the darkness, not to argue, but to rise. Speak as the ocean speaks to the shore, not to persuade, but to embrace. Speak as the sky speaks through every open moment, with vastness, with gentleness, with certainty. Let your words flow from the well that cannot run dry, the well that does not need the world to agree before it believes, the well that sings even when no one is listening, because the song itself is the miracle. When you speak from that well, you will notice something astonishing. You need less. You chase less. You explain less, because your words will no longer be reaching outward. They will be radiating from within, and that radiance will become your reality. It will shape your days with grace. It will draw people who recognize the tone of truth. It will unfold paths you didn't know were waiting for your arrival, and you will speak blessings not only for yourself, but for others. You will bless strangers with your presence. You will lift the weary with your voice. You will become a lighthouse, and your language the beam. Not loud, not forceful, but steady. Steady in love, steady in peace, steady in the unwavering vibration of one who speaks as if it's already done, because in the realm of truth, it is. This is your prayer now. Not a list of requests, but a declaration of remembrance. Not a plea, but a song. And the song says, I remember who I am. I remember my power. I remember my oneness with the source of all. And in that remembering, I no longer use my words to seek. I use them to see what has always been here, waiting for me to name it. To see the divine within every unfolding moment. To see that the greatest magic was never in changing the world, but in speaking to it differently. So let your last word in every prayer be not please, but thank you. Let your final thought in every moment be not one day, but now. And let your breath, this sacred, ordinary, holy breath, be the punctuation that says, it is done. And so it is.